On today's episode of The Unwritten Rule, Mizzou football is looking to go 2-0 this weekend. We have another Mizzou beat writer joining us. This time we're going to the Columbia Daily Tribune. We're talking to Calum McAndrew. We're going to preview the Tigers game against Middle Tennessee State. Plus, we have Payton's uniform review. And then we're going to do some news. We got some men's and women's basketball news on the recruiting trail, some schedule stuff. Mizzou Madness is back, so that's exciting. So we'll get Calum's takes on football first and foremost. We'll do quick hits, and then we're going to finish the show talking a little bit more college football week one. We're going to do our first SEC tier list. We're going to put every team based on how they did week one together. So we'll finish the show with that. Plenty to dive into. Great show for you guys, previewing Middle Tennessee State, and it all starts right now.
Marcel, where are you going with that disc? You are not putting that on again. Marcel, okay, if you press that button, you are in very, very big trouble.
Attention. Everybody stop what you're doing. It's time for The Unwritten Rule, a Mizzou sports podcast brought to you by the Believe Network, alongside Payton Haverman and Kenny Van Doren. Here is your host, Jack Knowlton.
Welcome back to The Unwritten Rule. Today is Friday, September 8th, and in order to preview Mizzou football's matchup against Middle Tennessee State, we had to bring in another expert. We had Wendell Shepard on last time, who works for the Columbia Missourian. Now we've brought in who some are calling the Benedict Arnold of the Columbia Missourian because he switched sides on us. He was Columbia Missourian. He's now with the Tribune. I'm just kidding. I had to get that in because Kenny, Payton, and I, along with Wendell, we had last week, all were on the Columbia Missourian. But no, we're very, very, very excited. Special guest, recurring guest. I think last time he was on, it was just me and him. I think Payton and Kenny were both gone. So Calum McAndrew is joining us from the Columbia Daily Tribune. He's their Mizzou beat writer. Calum, thank you for coming. Glad you don't have to do as much work because Payton and Kenny decided to actually show up this time. But welcome back to the show. We're excited to have you back.
Yeah, thank you very much. I think last time I talked too much for not enough money, so that's good.
Yeah, no money, literally no money. We can't pay guests. We have no funding. But yeah, so we're excited to have you back. Of course, you're with the Tribune now. You've been pretty new to that beat, but been covering Mizzou football and everything else. So let's we'll get started, get rolling. Middle Tennessee State this week, and I want to just broaden things out. Go back to South Dakota. Of course, the Tigers winning that game. What were your impressions having been there? What you saw in week one?
I thought it was a really, really efficient performance for week one. Jumping back to last year, there wasn't quite the theatrics of the Louisiana Tech game, but for Kirby Moore's first game as offensive coordinator, I thought they showed exactly what they needed to. They didn't really, didn't open up the playbook. Whether they will later in the season, we'll see. But I thought they were efficient in the run game. The offensive line looked a ton better. If that's what's to come and they can remain that efficient, I think that's a good sign. Blake Baker and his defense, exactly what we thought was going to happen. They are extremely good. So I thought all round, if there wasn't any fireworks, there weren't any explosions, it was an efficient win. It was kind of just what they really needed to put on the board in week one.
And I know the quarterback battle is going to be a conversation we're going to have a little bit, in the show. But looking at Brady Cook, you saw him all last season. We know he played through an injury. You might mention a little bit about that shoulder here in a second. Did he look more comfortable to you, comparing it to last year?
I think so. He definitely looked more comfortable because he was upright the whole game. There was no point where he was like just getting absolutely bodied. So I think inherently more comfortable there. But it's tough to say. It's no offense to our neighbors to the north, but it was South Dakota. It's tough to tell. It's tough to really say they are not even that great an FCS team. But I think he did exactly what he needed to do. I can't remember how many passes he completed in a row. I think it was up at sort of 12, 13 range. He looks more comfortable. He looks like he's less injured than he was last season. And didn't even really have to force the run game at any point, which I thought was interesting. You saw so many times, especially in the bowl game last year, where it just looked like he was running for his life. And sometimes he would manage to pick up something like that, sometimes he would just get absolutely flattened. So I think there's just an air of comfortability on the offense as a whole. Whether that is Brady Cook's feeling right now, we'll see, I guess.
One of the other things I think that came out of that game, Mevis, he missed 2 field goals again. He had some moments of shakiness last year, particularly against another FCS opponent in Abilene Christian. Is there any concern you think, or should there be any concern around him maybe, or is it just a hiccup early on?
Yes and no. I mean, anytime somebody misses their first 2 field goals of the season, and they're changing their long snapper this week. They had a freshman out. They've got a freshman holder. I think there's maybe a little bit more concern on that side of things. But anytime someone misses 2 field goals, I mean, that PAT was a flat-out duck hook that got called back, luckily for him. But that has to be cause for concern. Where I'm not as concerned on that front is that if you can find a more confident person in the country than Harrison Mevis, I don't want to meet them, but it's he has his process, he has his routine, he's very meticulous about the way he approaches his job, and we saw it last year after the Auburn game. He was mostly good after that disaster. I would expect something similar this season. I would not expect them to change kickers at any point. I think that would be a nigh on insane decision. But I think if anyone's going to right the ship, it's him. And I think if they're experimenting with their holders, Brady Cook has even been holding at some points in training camp. You might see that at some point. If there's anyone that's going to fix it, I would say it's Harrison Mevis.
I want to turn to the defense. I know you mentioned like Blake Baker, kind of continuing to shine in game 1, and I know it is South Dakota, but any particulars on that side of the ball? I know Payton and I, after the game, we mentioned Johnny Walker had a really good outing. Anyone that else that maybe stood out to you there in game 1? Yeah,
I mean, Tyron Hopper is the Terminator. He is just a frighteningly good linebacker. I thought he barely even began to show what he's capable of. Just watching him in training camp, that guy is in for a huge year. I don't think they really needed him against South Dakota, but whenever they did, he was there. Marvin Burks was awesome for his first game. Marvin Burks was absolutely excellent. That sack that made a thud. He's fast. Coaches are raving about him. I think it looks like JC Carlisle will be coming back this week from what we can tell. I saw him at practice on Tuesday, so his reps might get a little bit more limited, maybe more on special teams, but he's in for a big future and probably a 4-year future. It looks like he's going to burn a red shirt at some point. I think we could probably see a little bit more out the corners. I think they were good. I don't think they were really tested all that much, but I think there's probably more to come out of that side of the ball. But all round, just a really efficient performance. I mean, Johnny Walker in his first start, he's been waiting for that for best part of half a decade. He really, really impressed everyone. I think Darius Robinson as well, getting out from tackle at the end. I thought he had a pretty efficient first day. I mean, a lot of positives there, a lot of depth. I mean, you could rattle off 40 names, I think, that could all potentially contribute at some point this year.
And the depth too. I mean, looking at the depth chart right now, there's a lot of freshmen on it. A lot of guys from the 2023 class, and Shamar McNeil. You mentioned Marvin Burks, Philip Roche. I mean, looking back at last year, a lot more transfers are coming in. DJ Coleman was on that team. He was a 5th year, 6th year. What are the coaches? What are they saying about a lot of these freshmen who are stepping up and already on the depth chart, only a couple months into their college careers?
Yeah, I mean, it's not just the coaches as well. You talk about guys like Shamar McNeil. Dennis Reichshaw was raving about him through camp. Really, really impressed with what he saw. I think it speaks volumes to how they've recruited, and I think it also speaks volumes to how much depth that they have at other positions as well, that they can bring in guys that maybe aren't tried and tested at times. I think when you look at bringing Marvin Burks, you've got Joseph Charleston next to him. Any mistakes there, it's you've got somebody that's experienced and covered. I don't think you're ever going to see 4 or 5 freshmen on the field at the same time unless they're up 45-0 this weekend. So that's it speaks volumes to how well they've been able to retain their class. It speaks volumes to how they've recruited, especially on the defensive side of the ball. I think that they have the luxury of being able to bring guys like that into game situations, and it speaks volumes to how how good some of these guys are, especially Marvin Burks. He was great.
Want to switch back. Gotta ask about the handling of the QB competition. It's the hot button issue. Last week, obviously, we know Brady Cook has been named the starter. They still plan on getting Horn some reps whenever they can. Drink did make it seem like it was a competition before last week. But then Cook plays the full first half, gets 21 attempts. Sam Horn gets 5. A lot of people, myself included, I thought it was handled poorly. But how did you kind of think that was handled? Were you fine with it, or did you think it was kind of handled, maybe botched in the handling, or?
Yeah, I mean, that's tough to say. I mean, if you expect college football coaches to tell you the truth 24/7, you're insane. You're an insane person. That's the most ludicrous thought I've ever heard. Whether this was as much of a competition as it was made out to be is very doubtful. I think I've reported on all training camp that it has never looked like it was going to be anyone other than Brady Cook. It was always Connor Tollis snapping to him. It was always Brady Cook running with the ones. Every single time somebody spoke about Brady Cook, it was nothing but commendations and laudations. It was, it was sunshine and roses. He got voted a captain for the second straight time. Even after the game when the competition was allegedly still going on. I mean, that was a step removed from a love letter from Drinkwitz when he was talking about him. That's it. There has been no sign at any point that I think anyone, if you've been following coverage, I don't think there's any point where it's looked like it's going to be anyone other than Brady Cook. I think they had to give Sam Horn a chance. I think that had to happen at some point. But I don't think for the team where it is right now, and I understand people's frustrations, everyone's favorite person on the team's backup quarterback. I don't think Sam Horn's ready to take that role right now. I think Brady Cook is the most suited. I've been looking at things like the US Ryder Cup team right now. I don't know how much you guys follow that, but I'm a golf nerd. Justin Thomas hasn't been playing well. He got picked as the last guy into the Ryder Cup because he is the best person for that team. Not necessarily because he's the best golfer on the planet right now, but because he's the best team member. And I think that's a very similar situation to what's going on right here. I think every single person on that team loves Brady Cook. I think every single person on that team trusts Brady Cook. And I think that's showing. And I think that showed after week 1 how much they trust him to take this team forward. Whether he's the best quarterback on the team or not, that's not for me to say. I don't get to watch every single rep of practice. I don't have hundreds and hundreds of hours of film and practice to sit through. I don't have Kirby Moore. I don't have offensive analysts or gurus anywhere. That's not for me to say. But I think they trust him the most. Whether they've handled it the best, I'm sure fans can feel a little bit slighted on that front, that they've been led to believe that this was more of a competition than it was. But I think they have probably made the correct decision.
I like that Justin Thomas comparison.
There you go.
That's a good shout. Yeah. But I do kind of want to ask, because I think you make a really good point, and I think that's kind of the feeling of the three of us have had all off season, was that it did seem like it was Brady Cook's job. He did seem like the best person for this team. That said, I'm curious your thoughts maybe on how Drinkwitz did kind of handle that for you guys, for like the media. I know Payton kind of criticized his comments after the game. There was a little bit of a feeling that he maybe threw Sam Horn under the bus. There's obviously the comment you a little bit alluded to that went viral about, Brady Cook and what he said with his daughters, which was wild. But, I'm curious, how can that kind of maybe affect in your eyes, the, feeling that Sam Horn maybe has on his outlook, in being that future guy, whether, when it is his time to step up, or could there maybe be some skepticism creeping in there? I don't know. Maybe just your thoughts on how Drinkwitz kind of handled that to the media.
I don't know. First things on the daughter thing is, it's no different than every single college football coach that's ever said he's the type of guy you want your daughter. Like that's a big nothing burger for me. That was. I mean, I don't know. It was said weirdly, but I don't think there's anything behind that. I did go write your opinions, as if the guys from the PD and the Kansas City Star weren't going to anyway. I did enjoy that a lot. I thought that was kind of funny. The way he handled it, I don't know. It's tough to say. I think the bigger deal might be, we've heard now that Sam Horn is still going to play a series here and there. If that doesn't happen, maybe that's a little bit more of a bug in Sam Horn's ear that this isn't going to happen sometime soon. It's tough. Like, part of this job is obviously reporting what the coach says, which has been that there is going to be a quarterback competition. But you've also got to really use your critical judgment a little bit here as well. And there was no sign that was ever really the case. Yes, Sam Horn was in there. Yes, he did play the second half, but there was no real point that it looked like it was going to be anyone other than Brady Cook. So I for one, don't need a coach to tell me the truth all the time. That's not their job. That's not their prerogative. That's not in their best interest. So that how he handled it, I mean, it doesn't put me up or down. I don't think it should really bother fans all that much, but I can see why it might.
Sure.
Kind of moving on from the quarterback conversation. I know we kind of beat it to death now. What are some so I mean, we know who the big offensive, standouts are. Who are some guys that maybe we're not really looking at yet that coaches are talking about, players are talking about on the offensive side of the ball that could really contribute this season?
I don't know. I think they've kind of gone through all those people ad nauseum. I think some of the guys that you'll probably see a little bit more of as the season goes on are the tight ends. I think Brett Norfleet and Jordan Harris are going to have a big role to play, whether that's his pass catchers, whether that's his blockers. I mean, Brett Norfleet had a great game as a blocker on Thursday. I thought he was absolutely excellent. Jordan Harris is a big body, he's got good hands as well. So I think we'll see a little bit more out of them. At some point, I would expect to see a little bit. I think Theo Wees played every single snap on Thursday. I think he played every single offensive snap, which is, I wouldn't expect to see that going forward. They definitely trust him. They definitely value his experience and his talent. But I think at some point you're going to get some 4 receivers in there with guys like Dennis Jackson, Peanut Houston, quick guys like that they can maybe try the deep ball a little bit more than they would be able with who they had on the field. I think they've really kind of covered it, though. I think what you see is what you're going to get on the offensive side of the ball. I think they know who their skill players are. I think they know who their ones are. They know that their best option right now is to rotate Schrader and Pete. Might see Jamal Roberts at some point. He had a good camp, but I think what you've seen is more or less what you're going to get this year.
And kind of building off that tight end question real quick, Ryan Horskamp was a big name at the end of last season, especially with that long touchdown pass. He's not even on the depth chart now. I mean, did he kind of just fall off?
I guess so. I mean, the depth chart never lies, right? That's that or between Brady Cook and Sam Horn's name was That's no, I don't know. I think they just believe that they have better options now. I don't know, you get these 2 freshmen in that are pretty highly touted. I think that's what you run with at this point. I think that's, other than that catch, it's tough to say. I, once again, haven't studied Ryan Horskamp's film because I have a life. I'm not sure. I think they're pretty pleased with what they're running with. I think Tyler Stevens will be the one, but they've got those 2 guys in there, and then that's more or less probably going to be it.
So now going into this weekend, they've got Middle Tennessee State, who, while should still be a win, is a step up from South Dakota, I think everyone would say.
Yes,
but
100%.
But what is something maybe you want to see? I know you mentioned the offense and defense. You used the word efficient for their performance for both, but they didn't maybe have any firework, exciting big plays. Is that something maybe we should want to see this weekend, or what's something you're kind of looking for against Middle Tennessee?
I think they're almost going to be forced into it this weekend. Power Mizzou's Gabe Garmond asked Drinkwitz on Tuesday, have we seen your scheme? Are you hiding anything? And Drinkwitz said no. But he also said earlier that, Middle Tennessee likes to load the box. They like to bring the blitz. And that's going to put a lot of time pressure on Brady Cook. It's going to put a lot of pressure on the offensive line. They're not going to be able to pound the ground with Cody Schrader or Nate Pete because they are going to be picking up blitzes. So they're going to be forced to move the ball fast, and they're going to be forced to move. They'll have opportunities to move the ball far as well. So I would expect to see that a little bit more this time around. I think that's I've got lawnmower going right by me there. I don't know if you can hear that. That's great.
Sorry,
timing.
Kenny's dog sometimes invades the pod. We don't.
Oh, all right. Well, I mean, I would rather that than the lawnmower. That sounds great. That's no, I would expect to see something a little bit different, just because I think they're going to be forced into it at some point. And I think that's also what fans want to see it before K-State come to town. I think they want to see that, hey, we can do this. We're not just gonna put Cody Schrader in the flat and hope that he gets 8 yards. That's I think that's something that they're gonna have to show at some point, and I think that's something that they're probably going to be forced into at some point on Saturday, because Middle Tennessee are going to bring it, and they're going to bring it hard.
I asked Wendell this last week about South Dakota, but is there anyone in particular on Middle Tennessee State? I don't know if you've looked into them too much to keep an eye on. If not, obviously it is the Blue Raiders.
That's right. That's I don't know. Last time they were here, they won on homecoming. So
yeah, they got the good mojo.
I know Rick Stockstill's been there forever. They like to go fast. They like to throw the ball. They didn't give Alabama much of a run for the money, but nor will most teams. So we'll see.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I missed this just as when your last answer you were giving to Payton, but did you say that you guys do talk to Kirby Moore or do not?
We haven't yet. I would expect it at some point in the season. I went down to Tiger Talk on Tuesday against my better judgment to hear Kirby Moore, but obviously you don't get an opportunity to ask questions there or anything. So most of that's kind of just box standard answers. I believe at some point in the season we'll get a chance to talk to the coordinators, but we haven't through the first 2 weeks.
Yes, you haven't even talked to Baker as well.
Not since the start of camp. Not since they reported on July 30th.
No.
Interesting.
So
okay.
It'll be a minute.
All right, segueing away kind of from just the straight hard football questions. I know a couple weeks ago you tweeted, "Don't ever ask me about uniforms." Well, I'm going to ask you about uniforms.
Oh no!
Call the police. Okay.
Oval. I'm putting you on the spot. Oval, Tiger, or Block M, Calum?
Where is the hang-up button on here? Where is this? Look, my position on this cannot be more clear. Every single story I've written, I believe, every time it goes on social media, every time it goes on Facebook, someone that has been alive since the Titanic sank comments, "What is up with the script? What is up with these cartoon sailors?" And I'm tired of it. I don't need it anymore. I hate them, and I hate uniform discussion. It's up there with having to pay to subscribe. People complaining about that. I despise it, and I refuse to engage.
That's fair.
That's a good answer.
Don't
watch
that said, the all black uniforms are pretty cool.
Don't watch the segment after this if you don't want uniform.
Yeah. We'll cut. We'll let Payton do his uniform review without Calum. We'll free Calum of the burden of that. But Calum, this has been awesome. Thanks a ton for coming on. Any other you're on the just Mizzou beat in general. I know Oh, actually I wanted to ask you about recruiting. We had that as the little segment because we had Elias Williams, who, if I am not mistaken, I feel like I've heard his name been linked to Mizzou for a while. But he went in and committed, or am I dumb? Wait.
He committed. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry. He committed. He committed, and he's a 3-star edge. Do you know much about him? Pate, you can weigh in here too if you want. I don't know why his name was familiar to me when I saw that he committed, but another one for Drinkwitz.
No, the only thing, he's the guy. He was the 5th guy from Florida, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think that's. I mean, that's more or less my only takeaway there is that they've, out of their 15 players, 33% of them are from Florida. I think they must be having some success down there. Don't know a whole lot about him. Recruiting is not really the name of my gig. So that's unfortunately can't add much on that front. Looks like he might have been one of the guys that was down there at that Black and Gold weekend, or I can't remember what they called it.
The big one,
heavy recruiting weekend.
Yeah. Do you have any take? I know it's not your specialty, but just, I know you mentioned some of the young guys getting in, but just on the excitement of for fans and stuff to see, like, Williams Nwaneri obviously has been the huge one. And just like, has Drink maybe talked about that or made comments about that to people's questions on how he's, been recruiting?
This is the common mistake. It happens every year. Coaches aren't allowed to talk about commits.
Oh yeah, you're right.
They sign their paperwork. So yeah, no comments there. I was at the NIL signing. Goodness, when was that? About 2-3 weeks ago, when Governor Parson signed that into effect. It was weird though. They had all the basketball commits there, and I don't think any of them are from Missouri. So they weren't able to like benefit from what the main thing that the law brought. Dennis made a good joke about Eli's jumping at Kevin Peoples' arms. Parson asked if Drinkwitz could dunk. Gates said he can touch the net. I thought that was funny.
That's good.
That was my main takeaway from that. That was
Yeah, it's an interesting law too, because for the kids in Missouri, from what I've read, it seems like it gives them like a big edge. So that's
I've really enjoyed. Oklahoma fans seeming to think that wearing gloves matters more than potentially $1 million. I've really enjoyed that. That's a really funny take.
And Mizzou fans similarly freaking out about that. And that's all they really want to know. That might have to join. That might join your ranking with hating about uniform and subscription discussions. If people start commenting that.
Oh, if it's funny, I'm all for uniform discussion. That's
fair. Yeah,
you should do your own uniform review. You tell us what you're wearing to the game, like before, like on Thursday. Post an outfit, your outfit on your bed.
The outfit you're gonna wear,
and then put like emojis
garage photo.
Exactly. Yeah.
Do a preview 2 days in advance, and then a hype video of my
hype video.
Combo.
Yeah. Just out your your house. You holding like a football or something, or your press pass like up like that or something. You're parking.
They spelled my name wrong again.
Did
they?
Never
gonna happen. That's such a big like do better, play better.
Yeah, come on.
When they get my name wrong on the press pass.
And you've been around for a while. That's
the best response you can have is misspelling Drinkwitz's name in a headline. I think that's what you should do. You're not going to get my name right. I'm not going to get your name right.
Yeah, there you go. Just come after him a little
Drinkwitz is printing the press passes himself.
He's taking over.
The ones he doesn't like, he misspells their name a little bit. Oh, that's good.
Okay, one last question for you, Calum. You talked about the Ryder Cup earlier. Any predictions?
Oh, here we go.
Who you got?
When was the last time America won on European soil? Were you guys even born? I don't know. It's been a while. It's been a long time. I think it's 2000. God, it might be back in the 90s actually.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna have to look this up.
No, good looking US team. I think that probably just about every bit as good as Whistling Straits a couple of years ago. But I like who Europe's bringing to Rome. That's I'll be up early in the morning watching that.
Are Celtic in the Europa League?
Come on now, who won the league? Champions League.
Oh yeah, Champions League. What's their group? I forgot. Does it look good?
Feyenoord, Lazio, and Atletico Madrid.
Ooh, okay.
That's a fun one.
That'll be fun. Gotta be better than
Liverpool's group.
Oh my gosh, it's like it's the France team that won the French Cup, that Belgian club like Saint Gilloise or whatever, and then I am blanking on the last team. Winnable, should be winnable. We're also a Bayer Leverkusen podcast now because Kenny got one of those random soccer jersey things in the mail, and it was a Bayer Leverkusen jersey. So they're our podcast team officially.
Interesting. Yeah, how are they doing?
They're doing great. They're like three out of three in the Bundesliga so far.
Yeah.
So huge start to the campaign. All right. Well, Calum, thank you so much for joining us. Again, previewing Middle Tennessee State. We'll see what the Tigers can bring. We'll see if Drinkwitz says anything more wild, and let us know how many questions you get about the uniforms in your next.
No more, please.
Anything to plug? You told us before you have a Brady Cook feature coming out soon. Plug away.
Yeah, tons of stuff coming out this week. I'll have a Brady Cook feature in the morning. I think it comes out tomorrow morning. I submitted it about 35 minutes ago, so hopefully it does. It's talk to his mom about his off-season surgery and just how he handled the quarterback battle. I think it's a pretty interesting story. It's pretty timely with him being named starter this week. So hopefully people head over to the Columbia Tribune to take a peek at that.
Everyone.
There's some good nuggets in there.
Yeah, everyone go check that out. Calum's been, like we said, on the Mizzou beat for a while, so he does a great job. He's mentored all three of us a little bit in our time writing. So we thank you for that as well. But everyone go watch on Saturday, see how Mizzou does. Check out Calum's articles, and with that, we'll segue. We're going to talk a little more Mizzou stuff, and we'll let Payton do his uniform review free of Calum, so that he doesn't have to sit through it. So with that, we will segue over and do the uniform review and the rest of the Mizzou stuff.
What's that right there?
What's that right there, Sean? The answer is Payton's uniform review, because we didn't want to do it with Calum, because Calum hates uniforms. We're segueing. We're gonna do some more Mizzou stuff, but yeah, Payton. I won't hold you back anymore. We got the uniform review. We're recording this, like, we started recording right around noon on Thursday, which is right when the uniform review drops. So this is like not a totally live reaction now, but Payton hasn't had long to dissect what Mizzou is rocking on Saturday against Middle Tennessee. Payton, take it away.
First of all, low effort video. Okay.
Yeah, agree.
And look, not everything has to be high quality for these uniform reveals. I'm just kidding. I mean, like last year when they revealed Tiger Script, it was 3 photos. It was not a video. It was 3 photos that they revealed. The yellow helmet with the white Tiger Script. This season, get a lot of different photos of Cody Schrader, who had his first 100-yard game of his SEC career last week. He's donning the uniforms. It's your standard black jersey with the white numbers, which I still think looks quite nice. Black pants, white cleats. Or no, sorry. Well, he is wearing white cleats, but I don't think everybody is, obviously. And then white helmets. So, it's a whiteout this weekend. So obviously the white helmet had to happen. And I think the white helmet looks great. I like the tiger stripe, basic oval tiger. It looks good. I would have gone with more white on this uniform though. I don't think that black jersey and black pants, one of those should have been white, I think. And probably the pants is what I would have gone with. But overall, it's a solid uniform. I'll give it a 6, 7 out of 10, 6 out of 10. They didn't wear the Block M, thank God. They're going to wear it against Kansas State, so I better get ready for that. But solid uniform this week.
Good evaluation. Are you just allowed to wear whatever? Like, you don't have to wear like white at home or have like a considerable amount of white at home. You just wear whatever you want.
You can get whatever you want.
Just get away with whatever you want.
I think the home team usually wears the darker color. You don't.
They might.
Don't wear white at home.
Oh,
traditionally you do.
Don't.
Yeah, I was like, normally don't.
In the NFL, you don't. You wear your dark color at home.
Oh, I guess you're. Yeah, I guess you're right.
Yeah, no,
I think it's the
right.
same for everywhere. I mean, Alabama wears red. They wear crimson at home, white on the road.
So maybe it's just a.
I don't know if it's a straight rule though. And if it's not
I think
a rule,
the home team usually chooses, and you have to.
They just
unless you play like a really small school and they don't have many options, then you have to abide to that. But I don't think it really matters.
That's fair.
Just tell them what you're wearing.
Are these the stripes they normally have on the pants and the jersey? Maybe I'm just overanalyzing.
I didn't notice anything different. I think they are the same. I don't recall there being any difference there.
They look cool. I like
every time I look at these, I'm just reminded. I wish the second middle like yellow stripe on the arms here. Wish that was a tiny bit smaller, and it would look a bit better. I think, but that's nitpicking.
So nitpicky.
Hey,
fair enough.
Look good, play good. Mizzou needs to be the Oregon of the SEC.
Yeah, they also
uniforms. Like Alabama's uniforms are so boring, bland, and ugly. I don't care who says anything. I think their uniforms do not look good.
They've won a lot of national championships in those uniforms,
yeah,
so they do look good because they play good.
There you go. Look good, play good.
No, I disagree. You can look bad, play good though.
If they had some
you just the opposite of what you said earlier. You just want to prove your point, and you're still wrong. I win.
Well, you can look bad and play good, but when you're Mizzou, you got to look good, play good.
Okay. I think if Alabama did an alternate that was like black or something, it just said like Bama across it or something, did something with that, it could be cool. But I don't mind their uniforms. And then do you guys have anything more on Elias Williams? I know we talked to Calum a little bit about it. He hasn't been kind of tracked for a while. For some reason that was a name that like I seem to recognize from the recruiting.
He's been kind of, I'm sure they've been recruiting him for a good amount of time, but I don't personally know a ton. The only thing I really knew is that his announcement got pushed back a few hours because he was supposed to announce before his high school football game, and then there was bad weather, so it got delayed.
Brutal. Okay. Well, yeah. So Tigers landing another guy in the 2024 class. Basketball. We have some basketball stuff. A bunch from men's and women's basketball. Dennis Gates has obviously been on the recruiting trail, but Robin Pingeton landed 2 commits from the class of 2024 for her squad. Mariah Vincent, a forward from Texas, and then London Oliphant, who is also from Texas. They actually played on the same AAU team, FAM Elite. Vincent, 6 feet in high school on the women's side, so she's got some height there. Then, like I said, Oliphant, a point guard. Stat I found on her, she averaged 3.1 steals a game in whatever AAU circuit. So that's pretty impressive. At the point guard position, Payton, I want to go to you here first because you did cover the women's basketball team. Obviously, 2 commitments for Robin Pingeton. You know, not obviously jump off the page names. They didn't appear to be on any super high lists that I saw. But, you know, what's your take just while we're on the topic of women's basketball? You know, obviously they had Avery Kroenke and Ashton Judd come in last year who were pretty highly touted, both in state as well. And both played and made an impact in what turned out to be a really disappointing season for women's basketball. What's Robin Pingeton's status? Still seems like very much on the hot seat. You know, maybe these recruits move anything for you. What's your take on their upcoming season and her maybe future?
Obviously, I think it's no secret that it's pretty much NCAA tournament or bust for them at this point. They did get a win, their first postseason win this past season in the NIT over Illinois State. Their first postseason win since they won a tournament game in, I want to say, it was probably not Sophie Cunningham's senior year, but her junior year, if I'm not mistaken. It's in the Gamer I wrote on it, so go read that. But no, I mean, they've kind of had to just re-look at everything they were doing. Pingeton said as much at the end of the year. Recruiting wise, I mean, they've gotten some highly touted recruits, but a lot of them have not really developed maybe to their fullest potential. I mean, Jayla Kelly was a big time recruit for Mizzou, and she just never really grew into just a dominant center that I think they hoped she would be, and she eventually moved on. Ashton Judd, she was great, absolutely sensational, especially in SEC play as a freshman. That's maybe a building block piece. You bring back Haley Frank. You do lose Lauren Hansen, who was their second leading scorer. It's a big year for them. And these recruits, obviously, they're not going to help this year, but it is good to see Pingeton can still kind of flex her recruiting muscle a bit. She's done a great job throughout her tenure getting highly ranked high school recruits to come to Mizzou. It's just a matter of developing them once they get there, I think, is the main thing that has to be improved.
Yeah. So, yeah, no, 2 names again, you can kind of maybe see them developing. Because I know the whole thing with Kroenke and Judd last year was Kroenke was like the 5-star, obviously hometown talent from Rockbridge. But then Judd really kind of burst on the scene, like you said. I thought played really well. And you know, it doesn't get any easier, at least in this road to the tournament in this SEC for Mizzou women's basketball. Their conference schedule came out. I'm looking at a tweet from our guest Calum, who sent that out. They start SEC play, you guys, with LSU just won the national championship on the road then Alabama, and then South Carolina at home like a week later. So getting all the tough games out of the way early for women's basketball. But yeah, Pingeton, very big year coming up. I did have a quick thing I saw on for men's basketball. 4-star wing Chase McCarty is visiting on September 15th. So Dennis getting those guys to campus. And then on only other basketball thing, we got the announcement that Mizzou Madness is back. Those who went to Mizzou or were around Como last year might have remembered it. I covered it while I was on the men's basketball beat. It was a cool event. My two notes on it were that I hope the lights and mics actually work this time. And I'm glad they still did it. It's on October 6th, the month from Wednesday. So yeah, you guys both went, right?
Yeah. It's an event that has a ton of potential. They just need to make sure we can hear what's going on.
The technology was a problem.
The technology was failing them. Maybe run a few mic checks. But I mean, it was still last year. The Mizzou Madness made me think Sean East was going to be an absolute sharpshooter because he won the 3-point competition, and he was a lefty, and that excited me. But it's a cool event. I think pretty much every school, especially if you're Power 5, should do something like this. It's a good way to get the fans hyped. Yeah, that's just hopefully everything works this time.
Yeah.
It was always pretty funny to me that because the court that they put down, the plastic one, is still slanted.
Yep.
Yeah, I know they tried to find like the flattest part next to the columns, but I understand why they play a little bit safer and don't really make these guys and girls go up against each other in certain scenarios. Maybe just sticking to the 3-point contest, maybe flash some dunks. But looking ahead, it's a 2 months from now or a month from now. Who do you guys think is going to win the 3-point contest? Of course, we know it's not going to be the best 3-point shooter. Let's call our bets now on our shots now on who's going to win this.
Oh, God.
Yeah, if this was actually like on a regulation court in a real 3-point competition, my pick would be Caleb Grill. Otherwise, I'm going to have to go with I'm going to go bold because he is capable of it. Connor Vanover is my pick to win the Mizzou Madness 3-point competition. I think he can do it. And yeah, I mean, he was really good at those spot shooting threes at Oral Roberts. I think they've been practicing that a lot with him this offseason. I think he's going to be able to get it done.
You want to go, Kenny? No, I had a thought. It's okay.
What better do you want on a humpy court than a guy who used to be a Campbell camel, a fighting camel? Jesus Carolero Martin. I didn't know he had a second last name, but his second last name is Martin, the senior from Spain. He's 6'7". He's got a good wingspan. I think he could definitely just drop some in and surprise some people. And I got him winning it.
I'm going to go either Haley Frank or Nick Honor. I think Nick Honor's built for a moment like this with his I don't know. He just seems like he has fun in these kind of situations. Hit that clutch 3 against Mississippi State. I think when, the going gets tough, when it's a big moment in front of all the Mizzou fans, he might hit a 3. Haley Frank has been doing this for now going to be 5 years. I mean, come on. She's just efficient, can hit threes. I'll go
but you got to remember, this is not like a real court. Like, this is going to mess up.
That's true. So who would be better? Maybe like a park type in a park situation.
Yeah.
Jackson Francois, maybe JV Brown, Payton.
Okay. Like, let's get real predictions here.
No, I have mine. Nick Honor or Haley Frank. Those are my picks.
You kind of look like Caleb Grill.
Stop this.
He was on Noah's Ark yesterday.
He was. Noah's Ark is back. They caught fish. He said they were getting complaints about not catching fish for the first one. But they caught a few. It was him and Danny Stevens, Peyton's other favorite player.
Yep.
Loves Danny Stevens. All right. Good Mizzou segment. Oh, I did have a quick rundown because I realized we hadn't updated in a while. Soccer, they hit a bit of a skid. They have 2 draws and a loss, which was to Nebraska. They lost 5-0.
Volleyball's been good though.
How have they been? They win?
They were 5-0, I believe, going into a match against 3-0 Louisville, and were unable.
There we go.
to beat Louisville.
I mean, turning it around though, they were terrible last year, so good thing they were a program that was good when we first went there back in like 2019, that first couple seasons. But yeah, soccer, they play Illinois the day we're recording this Thursday. Illinois, I looked into them, they have a win over a ranked Xavier team, so it doesn't get any easier for the goal on squad. So we'll see. All right, good Mizzou segment. With that, we will switch things over and do quick hit. All right, quick hits time. Kenny, kick us off. Jerseys of the week, not the weekend. Week. It's Thursday. Also, yeah, shout out to us taking a week off for like the first time in a while. Sorry. Everyone was deprived and unwritten, but it was Labor Day, so hope everyone enjoyed their Labor Day. Anyway, jersey of the week, Kenny.
Jersey of the week goes to Troy Johnson, friend of the show. He's been on before. We've mentioned he's now in AAA with the Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp. We were teasing it a little bit every now and then until it happened. But this is a tweet from Fish on First. Troy Johnson's 20th stolen base, a video of him swiping the bag easily. Troy Johnson is the first Marlins minor leaguer to have a 20 home run, 20 stolen base season since Brian Peterson in 2008. Why this guy isn't in Miami already is beyond me. I'm kind of mad at Kim Ng. I'm really close to banning her from the show. I might ban her from the show if she doesn't call up our guy Troy. September is a weekend now. He wasn't a part of the 2 September call-ups. Someone can get an option, though. Someone can get DFA. He's not on the 40-man roster. Troy Johnson's a guy I think could really help out a Marlins team making a push for the playoffs. We don't know if they're going to make it at this point, but Troy Johnson deserves a shot, and hopefully he gets it next season.
Banned list would go up to 4. For those who remember, it's Zach Campbell, Chris Paul's daughter's bullies, and Deshaun Watson. So, yeah, we could think about that. We should have him back on soon, especially if he gets called up. That would be fun. He was a great guest, and yeah, it's just so funny. He's been doing that well. Like, obviously, he's a great player, but like the fact it's just been, everyone seems to notice he's been hitting so well. It's crazy. But
before Payton, when you're about to do your jersey of the week right now, I'm gonna look up when we did that interview with Troy Johnson and see what his slash line is since that day, because I know he did before and he had like a 900 OPS, which is very good. So yeah, I'll work on that right now.
Get those numbers. Go Payton.
My jersey of the week, it's going to be Tom Brady with the Patriots. If you didn't see, the Manning cast held tryouts and auditions for their third host. Tom Brady was not given the role, so he said he was going to come out of retirement and play football again. Where would he go? Nobody knows. And also, is he serious? No, he is not. But I just thought that video was funny, so I had to give a shout out to Big T.
Yeah. Who of all of the people in that video would you want to, if they had to pick one of them, would you
Jared
want
Goff
to actually be on the Magic? Why?
He's awesome.
Jared Goff is
so
kind of
funny.
awesome. He is kind
but
of
he
awesome.
also would not be my pick.
Yeah.
Kirko.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Lil Wayne. I might pick Lil Wayne.
Yeah.
Weezy Baby. President Carter.
God, Kirk Cousins' stock has skyrocketed since being on quarterback. He really did change his entire image.
What did he do in the NFL commercial where he's like, I'm always dripping
Big
or whatever?
Kirko
Yeah.
is always wakes up dripping or something.
Yeah, something like that. He said Big Kirko. That's what we know. Kenny, do you have the numbers?
Yeah, this is insane.
I saw
75 games
literally pop.
Since, you might have seen that on the YouTube. 75 games since the June 2nd episode. He is a batting average of 343 and an OPS of 1023 with 16 home runs, 12 stolen bases, and 33 walks. He has 100 hits in 75 games, 24 doubles, 16 home runs,
How many triples?
Two triples.
Okay, all right.
That is
got to get that up a little bit.
pretty good.
All right.
He's been intentionally walked twice since the interview has been up.
That's awesome.
I want to see how many times he was intentionally walked from the start of the season. No, he was only intentionally walked twice after he came on the podcast.
Wow.
So people felt threatened.
Yeah. Everyone go watch that interview back in June. It was great. And yeah, he's killing it. Even I know those numbers are insane, and I don't know ball. So okay, you pick Kirko, I pick Lil Wayne. Kenny, who's your pick for who would be on the podcast or the Manning cast?
DJ
DJ Khaled?
Livy Dunn. You guys know TikTok?
You guys know TikTok? I really wanted DJ Khaled to do more than just the another one. I wanted like a let's go golfing. Tell him to bring out the whole ocean. I would have loved one of those on the ad, but alas. My jersey of the week, I'm staying in the NFL. I'm going Nick Bosa with the 49ers because in case you were living under a rock the last couple days, he got paid 5-year, $170 million extension, $122.5 million guaranteed. This comes from Adam Schefter on X.com. Makes him the highest paid defensive player in history. Did that pass what, Aaron Donald, I assume? I thought Aaron Donald had that before.
Aaron Donald has had it. I don't know if he was still the guy. Aaron Donald also almost retired.
It was vesting Aaron Donald's $31.7 million with the Rams.
There you go.
I'll tell you who's really happy about this deal is Micah Parsons. Goodness gracious, he might break 200 mil.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point. Also, the Chiefs still won't pay Chris Jones, and now the 49ers paid Nick Bosa. So
this is pretty interesting, too. I'm looking at on Spot Rack right now. Number 1 is Nick Bosa. Number 2 is Khalil Mack. Number 3 is Joey Bosa. That Bosa family is making a lot
loaded.
of money.
Loaded. The Bosa Bros.
Shout out.
That Khalil Mack contract was signed by the Bears. Crazy how times change.
Did any of you guys? I mentioned Chris Jones and the Chiefs. Did any of you guys draft Travis Kelce? Any of your fantasy teams?
Yes.
Oh, you did?
I'm on any.
Did you see
he's maybe on 2.
Oh, tough.
Yeah.
Did you see that? I saw a photo a guy did. It was Travis Kelce, Cooper Kupp, and Jonathan Taylor were his first 3 picks.
Yeah, I had a couple leagues. I just forgot when the times were, and I got Cooper Kupp and Jonathan Taylor on one team. And I was like, this is ridiculous. Why the algorithm made
auto drafted?
Yeah, I know it's a top player, but maybe just skip over one.
I tried to do it in an auto draft league where I put a bunch in my queue and I put 2 defenses to make sure if I didn't get one, I'd get the other one. Ended up with both of them, and it auto drafted me a 3rd defense. I had 3 defenses on my roster after the draft was done. It was terrible.
That's what you both get for auto drafting.
It was
know
an
when
accident.
your drafts are.
Yeah.
Know when your drafts are.
I'm in 7 leagues.
Yeah, I have 6 fantasy teams.
If you can commit to 6 or 7 fantasy teams, you got to commit to 6 or 7 drafts, man.
Hey, we didn't auto draft for the unwritten team, so that's all that matters.
And that is most important.
Yeah, that is most important. All right. God, I'm starting to hate this next segment as much as the spelling bee, but Kenny, take it away.
You guys ever seen the movie Quiz Show?
Nope. No.
My grandfather's cousin was the subject. He cheated in Quiz Show. They fed him the answers. It was like some game shows on live TV, or just I don't know if it was live, but it was on TV. But that's how it is with Payton. I got to tell you, Jack, I've been feeding him the answers since the first week we've been doing
Don't
this.
patronize me.
I did ask Payton if he wanted the answer this week, and he was like, "It feels like you're already feeding me them, so let's do it anyway." So he doesn't have it. I was joking with him, but we're gonna start it off. This one's a little bit tough, and you guys might not even know who this is. You guys know the rules. Put your hands up, Jack. And the first name is Phil Garner. He was the major league infielder in the 80s and the 70s. He actually managed the Houston Astros as well in that 2005 World Series team. Might not know where he went to school though.
Yeah, I've heard that name. I have no idea where he went to college.
Never heard of him.
I'm glad you know who he is, because this next one you guys should know. You should at least know his name.
Know the name.
He was a cornerback in the NFL. He played for the Dolphins, the Texans, and the Bengals. He was the 16th overall pick back in 2006. Jason Allen.
I know. Oh, okay. I thought this was going to be Jonathan Joseph, and I was like,
No,
I know.
That was good though. But yeah, I found Jason Allen's name a little bit more interesting.
I don't know where he went.
Jason Allen?
Mm-hmm.
What team would he have been most known?
You would have known him with the Dolphins.
The Fins?
I barely remember him with the Texans, but I would know him as a Dolphin.
Can't say I remember him, so I do not know.
I
don't know where he went to college.
Okay,
this is the big one normally.
This next one could probably give it away for Payton. I'm not gonna kick Jack out of this conversation though, because Jack knows this team really well. That one of the teams he played for is Reggie White.
Oh, yeah, he retired. His number's retired. I don't
know if I know what college he went to.
It's somewhere. I feel like it's somewhere like small.
I'm gonna need the fourth name. I don't feel good right now about this.
Do you have any idea, Peyton? Like with Reggie White,
Not
did
really.
that triggered like a little thing in my brain, but like not
No.
something small. Do you go to Villanova? No, that's
No.
that's Howie Long.
That was Tano Passanio.
It's kind of crazy that Reggie White, who ended up being a Hall of Famer, was taken in the supplemental draft in 1984. He wasn't
What
in the
round of the
NFL
sub
draft.
draft?
He was in the first round. But he
Okay,
played for the Memphis Showboats.
That
Interesting.
his numbers retired in 2 stadiums.
Eagles.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
and
Eagles
I'm
and
gonna
Packers.
Gonna need
All right,
the fourth.
last name. I told Jack. I don't know if I told you, Peyton. This one is definitely a lot harder than usual. This last one is former Cowboys tight end Jason Witten.
Oh, dang! I'm pretty sure. I'm like
thinking of
99%
Romo. I'm thinking of
sure.
Romo.
I'm like
Not
90% sure.
You have a guess, Jack?
See, my guess is not a hard school though. It's like just you picked hard athletes.
Is it like a big school, Peyton?
Yes. Yes, it
is it a big? It is a big school that.
It's a big school. We're gonna talk about them later, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, then I think I have a guess, and I had this thought before Peyton said that.
But you didn't ding, and I dinged first.
Well, yeah, that's fine.
All right, Peyton. I don't think you got it
Tennessee.
right. Okay, you got it right. It's Tennessee.
Yeah.
So
I
what
I
are
thought
we
it might have
talking
been.
about later?
I thought it
Oh,
might
yeah,
have
I
been
see
Georgia.
it.
Yeah, we'll do the
Yeah.
SEC. We're doing the SEC
Yeah.
teams.
It was Tennessee.
I thought it was Georgia. Reggie White went to
no.
Tennessee.
I did not know Reggie White went to Tennessee. I'm not gonna lie. I really did not know that.
And for some reason, Jason Witten, you know what popped into my head was Eastern Illinois, but that was Romo.
That was
right?
Romo, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Jimmy
I have
Garoppolo.
like a distinct memory of Jason Witten at Tennessee for whatever reason. Like I just can remember. I can picture that perfectly. I had
thought
no
you were
idea the other three, but
I thought you were going to
Yeah.
pick Iowa.
no, yeah.
that would be it. That feels fitting.
Yeah.
All right. Next up. Oh, what's that? What's that you say?
I like No Cap, and he's the main bird.
Yeah, you thought I was gonna play the what's that?
That's not what's
Play the main
next.
bird. Is it not? Oh no, it's best
No,
beat.
cut that out.
Shit.
Jeez, man. Put that in the blooper reel. He thought he did something funny.
Now it's not gonna have near the same impact, dog. It's
It's not true.
well for us. I mean, like
No. Well, you got to pretend. Acting. Go. Best beat.
All right, best beats. We're gonna look at the records right now. We didn't have any beats for this past week, so we took Monday off. But right now, Jack is at 500.
I'm back.
Everyone clap it up for Jack.
Woo! Thanks for clapping, Peyton.
Peyton
Nope.
is 14 and 12. Looking good, Peyton. Looking
Good job,
strong.
Peyton.
Hit 2 beats.
I'll clap for
this
Peyton.
past weekend.
Good job.
with
Good job,
Rice
Peyton.
covering and
Clap
Miami
done.
beating Miami. And of course, Jack's beat was Colorado covering against TCU. They
They
won.
won. Deion, dude. That
Kind
game
of
was
pissed off
awesome.
though.
Why?
Fresno State was paid $1.25
Yeah.
million to go play at Purdue, and they beat them.
won.
Purdue, the line was at -3.5 in favor of Purdue. I lost that bet, so I'm at 15 and 10. Looking at some of these future bets that are going to be on the docket for this weekend as well. Jack, you have Brian
Jimmy G.
Porter to be the opening starting
Oh,
quarterback
no.
for the Raiders, and I have
Oh,
Lions
right.
+7. That's today, so we'll
Oh,
know.
yeah,
You'll
yeah.
know about that by the time this episode comes out.
Football's back. We're gonna talk a little more college football at the end of the show, though. Too. I want to talk about
Yeah.
this Colorado game. But thank you, Deion. Anyway,
So my best beat of the weekend is taking Michigan -37 against UNLV. Game is in Ann Arbor, and I cannot take Barry Odom to win a game, especially against the Wolverines. And I'm going to put my fours up. My fours up for Michigan
Jim Harbaugh,
for Jim Harbaugh, even though he self-inflicted.
self-imposed.
Fours up.
Self-inflicted.
He
They
died.
were acting like
Yeah.
he died.
Rest in peace, Jim Harbaugh.
JJ McCarthy doing the whole "I want my coach back," like, and them doing the whole the weird what a
Cringe.
weird tribute. Like he was.
They're gonna go to the playoff
wrongfully-
too. That's so annoying.
They are probably.
Whatever. Good bet.
Yeah, good bet. Never can let Barry Odom win.
Yeah.
My best beat of the week. I'm getting back into the NFL sphere. We're dipping our toes in the water. We got the Tennessee Titans taking on the New Orleans Saints. I am going to take the Saints -3. I'm going to take them to cover that because Jake Haener, they're going to play inspired for him. He was suspended for 6 games due to PED usage. And I think they're going to play inspired for him.
Win for him. Win for Hainer.
Derek Carr, religious zealot Carr, is going to show up.
Yeah. I'm actually doubling down on the Saints Titans game, or at least the Saints in my best beat. I'm going to player prompts. I'm already up. I'm back to 500. You guys just wait until the NBA starts.
You're below 500. That Brian Hoyer one is not going to.
Oh, you're right. I'm going to go back to, you're right, the Brian Hoyer one. So I'll go below. But I'm feeling good right now. Hey, we don't know until they walk out that tunnel. Yes, we do, but whatever. But I'm doing a player prop. Just you guys wait until NBA starts, and I can just start doing random players with rebounds. And I love a good player prop. But I'm doing Chris Olave over 76 receiving yards in this Saints-Titans game. From everything I've been reading and watching, people are really thinking this guy's going to boom. For unwritten fans that remember, I picked him as my offensive rookie of the year last year. Payton and Kenny, I remember, gave me quite a bit of grief for that pick, and he ended up being pretty good. Yep. So I'm gonna double down. I'm gonna go over 76 receiving yards. Derek Carr, religious zealot, like Payton said, is gonna throw him a dot, and that bet will hit. I will go back to 500 after Brian Hoyer does not start. Thanks, Jimmy G. All right, next. I'm not doing.
No, I like no capping. He's the main bird.
For our Cardinal fans that might be listening, for the St. Louis natives, this one's for you. Not taking a hit. The Cardinals this week. I'm calling out. I'm putting Mason Wynn.
Have you gone soft?
Step stool. I'm putting him on a little step stool. I'm gonna push him up because he's a little bit shorter. I'll put him up. But Mason Wynn is my main bird of the week. He had his first home run on Wednesday night against the Braves, securing a series win against the best team in the National League. And that was only his third extra base hit in his major league career. He's hitting 161 with a 425 OPS in 16 games. Just getting started. I mean, there's the only uphill from here, and he's going to turn it around. Shout out Kingwood, Texas. That's where he went to high school. Shout out Katy, Texas. That's where he's from. I'm in the Katy school district, so no big deal. Kind of close to Mason Wynn. I lied to Payton.
High school there.
I lied to Payton that Mason Wynn was in a MLB 2K The Show league with us for a while.
MLB 2K The Show.
Yeah. Everyone has to know. They don't know 2K The Show, or the 2K is not even a part of it.
It's because 2K The Show is not a thing.
Not a thing. Yeah. So shout out Mason Wynn.
So what did that help the Cardinals go from last to last? Was that
they secured a series win over the Atlanta Braves?
Do the Yankees? What was their thing? They had to win however many games in a row to make the playoffs. Are they done?
It's not happening. I mean, I don't think they're officially out.
Yeah. I thought I read something they had to win the rest of their games, and it was
I don't think they're that out of it, to be honest.
Okay.
They're only 11 or so back technically. I mean, they're not gonna make that up, but
I misheard.
They're in last place, 18 games back of first.
That's wild. All right, Payton.
Yeah, I have an inversion of the Cardinals suck trope. It's the Arizona Cardinals. Josh Dobbs, he's my main bird. He's getting an opportunity to be a week one starter, like many thought he could eventually do in Pittsburgh after his days at Tennessee.
I was going to say Josh Dobbs. Yeah, he went to the Guest College.
Yeah, Josh Dobbs. He was named the Arizona Cardinals starting quarterback for week one. Clayton Tune, UH's own, will back him up. And yeah, Josh Dobbs, main bird of the week. The Cardinals are going to be very bad this year, but
Caleb Williams. Thank you for Caleb Williams. Josh Dobbs also doesn't he I thought I saw a thing when he started on Monday Night Football or whatever that he's like a rocket scientist. His major's mechanical engineering or something. He's crazy smart.
He's very smart.
Good for him. My main bird of the week, I'm going out to the old Pacific Northwest. I'm picking the Oregon Duck. I didn't look up. Does it have a nickname? I don't remember.
His name is the Oregon Duck.
The Oregon Duck. Okay. I'm going the Oregon Duck, of course, Oregon's mascot. He did 546 push-ups after the Ducks destroyed Portland State on Saturday, 81-7. Did 546 push-ups allegedly. I have a theory. I think they swapped out Oregon Ducks at halftime. I don't think one Duck was responsible for all 546 of those push-ups. I think they divvied it up. And yeah, I'm dying on that hill. I know a lot of people, they have backup mascots in case someone gets hurt. I feel like the one Duck's arms probably gave out. They probably made a swap at halftime. So I'm degrading that performance. I think it was 2 Ducks. That's my theory. I don't know if you guys have thoughts on that.
This may shock you, Knowlton, but there are probably more than 2 Oregon Ducks.
I know, but I'm saying they split up the duties. Yeah, they might have even gone by quarter. So
I'm pretty sure they do that in actual games from any team. Like I think at halftime.
Oh, they certainly do. Yeah.
I'd be furious if I was the 4th quarter Duck. By the way, I had to do 81. Go ahead.
I think I'd like it more. It's cooler.
You get big arms.
My God, I'd be dead.
Imagine trying to like just lift up anything the next day after doing that many push-ups. Just be
swole.
It'd be terrible. Yeah, you'd be very swole. Very swole.
So I have 3 things to say.
Okay.
The Mandela
effect
is taking over me right now. I was confused for a second when I said the name Barry Odom because I was like, wait, is it Larry Odom? Because I mean, like in the back of my mind, he looks like a Larry.
Lamar Odom.
It's
always, I know. So I mean, there might have been Larry at one point. Next thing, looking back on the doc right here, when I said Mason Wynn, when I was talking about, I said 2K MLB The Show. In my mind, it was the same game. Another Mandela effect. This third one.
That's not.
I swear on my life.
Not how it works.
Not how the Mandela effect works.
Swear on my life, there is a Mrs. Oregon Duck, and I cannot find a photo of it. I swear
there is no Miss Oregon Duck. You are just
Miss Oregon Duck.
Remembering things.
Wow.
You're
I've
just
seen
second
one.
guessing yourself.
Yeah, Kenny's
seen one. I don't know.
You're thinking of Mrs. Wolf, the female.
No, I've seen a duck that looks
There's
bashful.
no female duck. You're
Muhammad
thinking of
Deion.
Daffy. I think you're thinking of Daffy Duck's wife.
I think I'm thinking of Mrs.
Daisy?
Man after that photo that went around Twitter last
Wait,
week.
Daffy Duck's wife? Do you mean Donald Duck? Or are they?
Yeah, it's Donald Duck.
Oh God, no! There's
Now he's a
Mandela
Mandela
effect.
effect. Oh God! Now
Is he gaslighting?
we're all going insane.
But yeah.
Thanks, Kenny.
Moving on. I thought all 3 of those things were going to be about the Oregon Duck.
Yeah, me too.
And then I'm hearing about
I'm
Larry
gonna
Odom.
looking back on the doc. Kenny's fine thing to talk about.
Mhm.
Hey, guy. Oh, I forgot about a Mizzou men's basketball thing I wanted to say from an hour ago. Payton, what'd you
Anyways, the best thing I learned this week. This comes from a tweet from Joe De Leon, who is actually a fellow Believe host. Idaho State football using an illegal Reddit stream to post highlights is fantastic, and it is a photo of Idaho State's official football team tweeting first of all, it's a field goal highlight. Second of all, you can very clearly see the streameast.io thing in the top left corner. So it is an illegal stream. So that also means they're like 15 minutes behind. But that was just funny. I guess the Ed Chang University just could not pay for the Twitter admin to watch their own games. That was it. I just found
That's
funny.
so funny. Hey, Streamist has helped us all in many downtrodden times of finding games.
Never used it.
Really?
Nope.
What? Oh, I guess you guys don't watch very many out of market NBA games, but suit
We
yourselves.
aren't criminals. I think that's what we're trying to say.
Oh, that's what you're trying to say?
We are, yeah.
You know what?
We don't wear the pinstripes to bed.
They can come for me. I don't care.
Shout out Joe De Leon because he was a long snapper in college in Rhode Island.
Really? For what?
Cool.
For what school?
Rhode Island.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Thanks for giving us a platform.
Yeah,
I agree.
What'd you learn, Kenny?
What I learned this week, I had 2 different things. I had one about DeMar Hamlin, but I wasn't sure if it was real, so I decided not to go with it.
Probably
The
smart.
second thing,
I've been bitten by that many times.
yeah, like 3 times. It was like 3 weeks in a row too.
Yeah.
So Brett McMurphy from Action Network HQ,
Terrible
openly,
AP poll.
openly hates Mizzou. He hates Eli Drinkwitz. We all know it. But he tweeted former President Donald Trump will attend Saturday's Iowa at Iowa State game. Pre-game Empire quote tweeted with, "Need him to stand next to this guy for science." Ryan Barnes, he's a freshman linebacker from Britt, Iowa, wears number 41. He's 6'3", 215 pounds. We've had this conversation before about how Donald Trump lied about his size. I want to see him stand next to this guy. I think pre-game Empire had an awesome tweet with this.
Yeah. Some of the other quote tweets are really funny too. I liked No Context College Football just tweeted, "That's a pretty unfortunate alternative to prison." Just having to watch Iowa State. Yeah.
Here's one. It's criminally charged. Donald Trump and Hunter
Shut
Hecker. There was a delay. I mean, I'm sorry. I mean, it's bad Wi-Fi. But it's him next to another next to an Iowa State player. What do you think Donald Trump's gonna wear? I've never seen him in not a suit.
Yeah, it might be a suit. Barstool Iowa tweeted Trump after watching punt, field goal, punt, interception in the first half with the.
Look at the link I just put on the doc. It's.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one. What'd you drop in the doc?
Look at the link I just put on there. It's Donald Trump in an Iowa hat and Sleepy Joe in an Iowa State hat with the mask on.
Oh man,
why'd I call him Sleepy Joe? His name's Joe Biden. That's just
yeah. Come on,
sorry.
That's okay. It's okay.
Sorry, I'm putting on my Iowa hat now.
Yeah.
This has gone off the rails.
This is funny. No, this is great. This is great. I mean, this is what you get when you get Donald Trump in. You're coming to your games. My best thing I learned this week is Team USA. They won. They bounced back after losing. I think it was to Latvia or Lithuania. I think it was Lithuania. They bounced back. They beat Italy 100-63 to go to the semifinals of the FIBA World Cup. And my one comment I have on this is take that, Noah Lyles. Champion of what? The world soon. They're going to the semifinals. They play Germany next. Stats. Tyrese Halliburton had 18 points. Mikal Bridges 24 points. And I'm sure Austin Reeves probably did something that made everyone go nuts.
When I saw Team USA on the doc and didn't click the link, I thought this was about the Ryder Cup.
Oh, sorry. Do you have something on the Ryder Cup?
I'm really glad Ricky Fowler's on the team.
That is cool.
But other than that, I mean, I agree with you, Noah Lyles. We are the world champions.
No, I don't really. That whole debate is stupid. But I wanted to go back with what Calum said about Justin Thomas Payton. Isn't his record in the Ryder Cup like insane compared to everyone else?
I don't recall, but he is
that's like his thing.
Grizzled guy in this competition.
That's his thing. So shout out to Team USA. All right, Kenny.
I had one thing to build off that.
Oh, sorry.
This goes back to what we were talking about last week, as you mentioned. It's kind of BS that that USA is losing basketball games. We have the best talent in the world in every sport because we are the best. And it's kind of
baseball.
Yeah, not in baseball, but it's kind of BS that we're losing in the sport we invented too. I mean, we should be the best at basketball.
James Naismith, Kansas.
Who's the coach right now for Team USA? I know there's who's like the head
Mike
coach.
Krzyzewski.
It's still Coach K?
No, it's not.
Yeah, no, it's not.
Retired.
Yeah.
But there's a bunch. I mean, like I think Spoelstra's on the bench.
Them.
There's a bunch of them. They should be on the hot seats for the NBA teams.
We're literally gonna win the tournament.
That's all I gotta say.
It's Steve Kerr.
So,
yep.
They're gonna
don't
win.
ask Steve Kerr what he named his son. That's all I gotta say.
Nicholas.
No. Yeah, whatever. But yeah, they played Germany, and I just think it's great that they crushed Italy after battle. They should not have lost to Lithuania. That is not good, but whatever. All right, ratio, Kenny.
This ratio was submitted by our good friend Justin Bear. He was banned from the show for a little bit because he kept winning when we used to do our NFL picks.
Yep.
This tweet comes from Jay Black. Jay Black is funny on X. So Fauci was waiting for 40 years, along with the deep state, for a novel coronavirus to infect the world so they could pounce with their plan to mask everyone so that people would mask and then they'd be controlled. And then what? What's step 2? Hats. So he was quote tweeting a guy named From Afar on X. Jay, you're either not thinking or the intended endpoint of the mass conspiracy is to get you to F-ing, can't say the word, obey.
Capiche.
Jesus, are you? I thought you were joking.
I thought he was joking too.
I was reading too fast.
Also,
because he misspelled it. I was confused.
Yeah, can we do this grammar too? J, comma, you're either not thinking or question mark. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, but he misspelled capiche. That's why I was confused.
Are you sure?
Yeah, it's Capisce. It's capiche.
No, it's not, Kenny.
Yes, it is.
No, it's Capeesh.
Okay, well, he's still
Capiche.
Didn't he?
Wait, no, you're right.
Wait, no, I'm right. There's two
there's
spellings of it. He didn't get
You're
either
right.
of them.
Sorry, you're
Yeah.
right. You're right.
Okay, well, the numbers on it. This From Afar guy got 21 quotes, 3 likes, 6 bookmarks. Jay Black got 1,281 reposts, 46 quotes, 13,000 likes, and 122 bookmarks. Justin Bear hits us with more politics. That's what we need on this show. And by the end of it, by the election, we need everyone to guess who they think we're voting for, just based on our mannerisms.
Do not do that.
No, please don't do that. That'll be our first mailbag question if we ever do that. It's gonna be.
We should do a mailbag.
We should do a
I bet you all are great.
Yeah, itching to ask us some definitely not inappropriate questions. Yeah, I did see a thing on the news that they might do more boosters because the with kids going back to school, the cases are back up. So that's all I know about COVID. Good ratio.
It ended like a year ago. Why are the cases going up?
All right.
Oh Lord. All right, we're moving on. We're gonna finish the show with our SEC tier list. We're gonna talk college football week 1. Football's back. I'm very excited. We had some wild games to start college football. So stay tuned. Okay. We are going to finish the show talking week 1 of college football. We previewed Mizzou Middle Tennessee. Me and Payton talked a little bit about that, or we recapped it, not talked a little bit about it. We recapped the game. But yeah, we just had a wild week of college football to come back. And we obviously like to make a point of talking about it. We all watch it. We're going to do NFL on this show too. But yeah, or not Middle Tennessee. They beat South Dakota. Sorry. We previewed Middle Tennessee. Thanks, Kenny. Anyway, do we want to start? We said, in the offseason, we were going to do a tier list every week for the SEC teams and how they did in the last week. Do you want to start with that, or do we want to do games outside of the SEC? What do you want to start with?
I'd say we start with the recap of our favorite game.
You want to do the recap of our favorite game?
Yeah.
Okay. Who wants to go first? Can I go first?
Okay,
Payton,
you go first.
Okay,
I want to go first.
Okay, I'll go first.
You go first.
I'll go first. Can I go first?
Yeah.
No, you go first. All right.
Anyways, Texas you go first.
I want to do Colorado and TCU as my game. I just that was obviously my beat. Surprise, shock of the weekend for sure. Deion marching down there to Texas, to TCU, where you guys went to watch Mizzou play in the bowl game, and beating them. Beat them 45-42. It was a shootout. Everyone, all those guys for Colorado seemed to ball out. Shadur Sanders, Deion's son, 510 yards, 4 touchdowns. Travis Hunter played 115 snaps or whatever it was because he played corner and receiver. They had 4 guys with 100+ receiving yards. I didn't get a chance to watch too much of this game, but I saw the highlights. I don't know if you guys got a chance much to watch, but what a performance. I mean, Deion delivered everything he promised in game number 1. Beat a team. Yes, they lost a lot of people, but they went to the national championship last year. And Colorado's 1-0. I just thought it was awesome. What a start to the season.
Yeah, I did watch pretty much all of this. It was just defense was optional for such large stretches of the game unless you were Travis Hunter. Travis Hunter was just a game breaker on each side of the field. I've never seen somebody be able to play both ways at such a high level like he does. Will that be able to hold up across the entire season? I kind of lean no, but I mean, if it does, I mean that regardless of what Colorado finishes record-wise, I think you have to consider him for the Heisman. I'm not saying you have to give it to him, but you have to consider him. Yeah, love it or hate it. I mean, Colorado has everybody's attention, and it's rightfully deserved. I think Deion, I get why people don't like some parts of the way Deion coaches. I don't think anybody can say getting rid of 86 new players is super healthy to do consistently. But I mean, it was a 1-11 team last year. It wasn't like he was losing much. And I mean, you see the way, Deion encourages everyone on the sidelines, the way he goes to battle for his guys. I don't know how you can really find a way to truly hate Deion Sanders. I personally like Deion. I think he's going to succeed. Do I really think this changes the course? And do I think Colorado suddenly is a national contender or anything like that.
Yes.
I do not think that. I think best case for Colorado this year, because it is still there are very glaring weaknesses on that team still, is a bowl game. But Colorado has everyone hooked, and I think they absolutely deserve it. And I personally know I will be keeping an eye on Colorado.
Everyone is.
He's changing college football for the better. I mean, we're going to see a documentary in 10 years from now about how he changed the landscape of football, from recruiting to not playing cupcakes to playing, good teams out of conference at the start of the year, especially in your first year with the Power 5 program. It's pretty incredible. You can't talk about it enough. I do understand why certain people do not like Deion Sanders at the moment, especially journalists, for the way he's kind of handling that. You can see it in press conferences. He not necessarily goes after people, but he corrects people. He says, I remember what you said. I remember how you guys, treated the way you thought our season would go. Rightfully so, though, for those evaluators, for those reporters, no one's seen something like this. No one has seen a guy come into a program, a team that won one game last year, do a full turnover on the roster, and then come out and beat a team that went to the national championship. That's unheard of. I mean, that's unseen. And Travis Hunter he called himself the Shohei Ohtani of football. And when I thought about that, he certainly is. I mean, he's playing on both sides of the ball. He's playing it at a very high level, one of the best players in college football, like Payton said. But in the back of my mind, I'm wondering, how long can this last at the Power 5 level? Can it go a full season?
You get tired.
You're playing 100+ snaps. That's a lot of football. And you're doing it against very good teams. I mean, you're playing a Power 5 team to open the season. We'll see how long that can last. Of course, he did it last year. We're not going to diss the level that he was playing at in the FCS, but at the same time, we don't know how long he can really just hold on to this and not really burn himself out. And that's the only thing I would be worried about for Travis Hunter. Big trivia question, though. Who was Travis Hunter's quarterback in high school?
Ding.
Sam Horn.
Hey, you didn't ding.
Jack dinged.
You didn't
Jack
ding.
Too
Sam
bad.
Horn.
I spoiled it.
Let me get one more thing right. It's just odd. Like, I don't know. There's people. He is one just like Shohei Ohtani, where you're just, these people are just different. They are genetically different. The things that he can do, you're just you can't train it. I mean, obviously, he puts in a lot of work, but dude,
his conditioning is unlike anything I've ever seen. I just don't know how you're able to do that. Also, I'd be remiss if we didn't mention Dylan Edwards, who obviously decommitted. It's hard. It's honestly Dylan Edwards, 99% of the games you put the performance Dylan Edwards did up, it would be the best performance of the week, maybe. It was probably third best on his own team. That is how insane Colorado's offense looked. I do think some people need to remember Colorado's OC, Sean Lewis, if I'm not mistaken on the name. He was a head coach in the MAC. He was Kent State's head coach, and Deion poached him from there. I mean, he had a traditionally really terrible Kent State in a bowl game every year, took them to a MAC championship. I would be on the lookout for him getting some interviews for some higher level jobs this year. And you know what? At the end of the day, I did want to comment on Kenny's thing about Deion kind of going after the media. I think it's fair for him to push back and be like, yeah, you didn't really, I saw what you wrote. You didn't look at us now. But I mean, when he was like, do you believe now? It's not really a journalist's job to believe in a team. They're supposed to cover it and occasionally give their opinions on that. And if their opinion is wrong, by all means, Deion is well within his rights to go after him. But I mean, he doesn't, a journalist's job is not to be a cheerleader for the team. Yeah. But overall, I think you have to be, I agree with Kenny. We're going to look back on Deion and realize wow, he really did change the game for largely the better, I would say.
The people who are getting all divided over him need to look in the mirror and be like, win, lose, or draw. If this goes terribly, or if he does exactly what he promises, it's going to be so entertaining and fun. It doesn't matter. That's just the kind of person and figurehead that Deion has always been and is now as their coach. I don't know. It's so cool. Coach Prime.
Watch Deion's 30 for 30. Also, I would say
great 30 for 30.
It's a good. It kind of really. I remember opened my eyes this dude's awesome.
Yeah,
he's just a crazy cool character.
Or didn't they interview him? Don't they interview him in a hangar?
In a hangar,
with a private
jet
plane
behind him. Yeah.
I want to play for
Yeah.
Colorado. Like that's awesome.
But yeah, that was obviously game of the week.
And Go
Go
ahead. Yes, his kids just also like, they are going to just run through a brick wall for a guy. And that's huge as a coach. No matter how little experience you have, you get the players to buy in. Like you're golden. So anyway, that's my game of it. It was great. Great game.
That was obviously going to be, I think, all of our games of the week. So I mean, Kenny and I went different directions. I went with Wyoming, Texas Tech. Tech is a team with actually like big aspirations this year. There are some people that think they can compete for the Big 12, but they kind of had to learn the hard way, like Mizzou had to in our freshman year in 2019. If you're a Power 5 team, do not go to Laramie in week one. Wyoming is just a tough place to play. It's a surprisingly rabid fan base, and they upended Texas Tech. Wyoming's a good team traditionally. And this was like a trap game on paper. I remember a lot of people were kind of upset watching this, and we got an absolute classic. I mean, I don't know if you guys saw the clip of in double overtime when I forget Wyoming's quarterback's name, but I mean, Texas Tech brings the house on fourth and 7. They go for broke. Wyoming's quarterback is getting just absolutely punished, but he gets a slant ball out and Wyoming scores and they get the 2-point conversion. Just a crazy ending. It was a great game. There weren't many good games this week, but that was one of the few good ones.
Andrew Peasley is the quarterback's name for Wyoming.
That
was a good one. I actually didn't get to watch many of the games. That was one of them I didn't even know that would happen. The only thing I knew really much about Texas Tech coming into the season is that the Big 12 commissioner told, like, he was like, I want Texas Tech to beat Texas because he is a Texas Tech guy, and he said that, and people at Texas were like, what are you doing? Like, we're leaving, but why are you saying this? So I kind of knew there was some hype behind there, and that's an interesting game. I think that was one of Max Chadwick's big games to watch. Going into that last week. There's a couple games I could go here. I mean, you might sound like a troll this one, but Wisconsin against Buffalo, I thought was a pretty good game. Buffalo really tested Wisconsin, and I'm actually like in the company that if Buffalo had an offensive line, I think that game's a lot closer, and I think Wisconsin might be pushed out of the AP top 25 with a loss because Buffalo's quarterback. I mean, if you look at where Cole Snyder has been, he was a backup at Rutgers. He was at Rutgers for maybe 2 or 3 seasons. He played well, even without with
the quarterback.
Trigger summon Payton. Yeah, he was.
Oh my God, I did not watch that game. I did not know he was Buffalo's quarterback now. Mm-hmm. Wow.
So 26 for 41, and I mean, you look at some of those passes that he's just throwing the ball out of bounds. I mean, they mentioned on the broadcast that a couple he just had to throw away, 195 yards, 2 touchdowns. Of course, Tanner Mordecai got worked. 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. He threw for 189 yards. Big test for him. He's not even playing Power 5 competition yet. He's a transfer there. I'll just hit on one more game. I just wanted to talk about that. But Clemson Duke. I mean, that was one of the biggest games of the weekend as well. I know it was on Monday.
Clemsoning's back.
Clemsoning's back. Clemson would be pretty good if they had a quarterback. Too bad DJ
Uiagalelei would have won that game
out. Dodgers prospect. But Riley Leonard looked good. He had 8 carries for 98 yards and a touchdown. I mean, when you look at some of these quarterbacks in college football, they count sacks as negative yards. You just don't see this all that often. And Riley Leonard is like Brady Cook, is what you want Brady Cook to be able to be that threat with his legs, because we know Brady Cook can run. Riley Leonard looked really good. Big win for the Duke Blue Devils.
The storm in the field was awesome.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mike Elko, Duke's head coach, has done an absolutely unbelievable job. He was Jimbo Fisher's DC 2 years ago, and he's amazing. I don't know how long Duke is going to be able to keep him. I would say this is a little more about Duke being a bit underrated than just Clemson being bad. Oh, okay. I think people kind of forget Duke a year ago was not a bad team at all. Riley Leonard looked a lot better. Mike Elko took them to a bowl game after inheriting just a terrible situation. That's a good program being put together in Durham. So I'd be on the lookout for that. But Clemson does have issues. We're kind of watching like a dynasty start to maybe fall apart,
crumble,
because Dabo is just stuck in like 2016, 17, not taking any transfers. Get with the times, dude. Look what Deion just did taking 86 new players. Okay, you need to get with the times, man. The jig is up.
Yeah, it's very like he said the whole thing about he would quit before college players got paid, and then had to go, like, was almost forced to go back on that word because you can't survive now if you have that mentality as a coach. So especially a coach at Clemson. And yeah, just that was a fun evening on Twitter after they lost. The trolling was immense. There's like the Duke fan in the T-Rex costume that was running all over the field. Yeah, just a great win. Trap game for sure. The other thing, Kenny, I do want to comment because you brought up Wisconsin. I think this was also a very humbling game. I'll offer this take for Wisconsin fans. It was a humbling game, I think, for them in terms of, they had I remember I saw an edit in the Wisconsin State Journal. A cartoonist made it was like Luke Fickell driving a plane, and he was like, "Get ready for the air raid." And the best part, the thing that won Wisconsin that game was having two running backs, one of whom is supposed to be the best running back probably coming into the draft, was not even the best running back on his own team that day, combined for 250 plus yards, and that's how they won. And Tanner Mordecai was bad, so that's probably a little bit humbling. They're not all the way away from the run the ball up your gut and kill you on defense type of mentality. What on earth was that?
What was that?
Was that a dog?
Oh my God, Jesse, what is your problem? Yeah, she got mad at Bosco.
Oh, that was a growl?
Uh-oh.
It sounded like a saw or something.
Yeah, wow, that was scary.
Stop, Jesse. Stop being a beach.
Jesse's misbehaving.
Sorry about that.
But yeah, shout out Clemsoning. It's back. The trolling is so good. So good. She's so mad. Kenny's got to go take care of the situation.
Oh,
me and Payton will hold it down. I'm keeping this in. I don't care. I'm keeping this in. This is funny.
Okay.
He's back. They all right? They apologize?
Yeah, they're fine.
Someone's sitting in the
She
corner.
was she was showing some teeth there. I could hear the.
I was back to the Wisconsin thing. I only chose that game, Jack, because we watched it together, and I know you're a Wisconsinite.
Yes, no. They did what they had to do, but you're right. Tanner Mordecai did not look good. Do we have any other quick hits on the games? I think we got it. Florida State and LSU. We'll get to that because we're gonna do the tier list. But because there's plenty to talk about with that game. Okay, tier list. So SEC football teams, week 1. Are we good on the agreed tiers? We have Bama and Georgia. We could switch that up if we want. I would consider dropping
There's
Bama.
Nobody in their tier right now.
What do you mean?
Nobody else is in that tier. Those two are the top two.
Do you think Bama's on that level though? Do you think they're
as of now?
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I just leave them in there.
All right, we're gonna put them both there. Then tier 2, we have Played Cupcake, Losers, Dogwater, and Vandy. Okay, I'll just go team by team, and we can just debate where we put them. I'm going in no particular order. Kentucky.
Played Cupcake.
Who did Kentucky play?
They played Ball State. They did their offense. Their offense, I'd give a loser rating to because Devin Leary did not look good.
44 to 14.
Ray Davis did look good. Kenny said he was the most underrated back in the SEC. I kind of agree with that. Ray Davis was very good on a pretty middle of the road to bad Vanderbilt offense last year. That he was the most encouraging sign there. Their O-line still looked bad. I was not impressed by Liam Cohen, really. I thought we would see a lot more fireworks with Leary, but they did ultimately win by 30. So
okay. So what? Played Cupcakes? Is that fine?
Cupcake, yeah.
LSU. Let's get them out of the way.
Sure. Just loser. I don't think they're Dogwater. I still think they'll be fine, but I put them in the loser.
What we need to remember is Florida State is a very, very good football team. Keon Coleman looked like the truth. The thing about LSU was they were close for a good amount of that game. Then the fourth quarter totally got away from them. Did not like Harold Perkins being moved to inside linebacker. I think that was a mistake. Why move such an impactful freshman from a natural position? I think that was a mistake, but I'm with Kenny. I don't think they're going to bottom out and go 7-5 or anything. I still think they'll be a very good team.
We're going to put Brian Kelly in Dogwater, though.
That's fine with me.
LSU
water,
fans
Brian
are
Kelly.
mad.
Oh, they
Mad
should
at
be.
Brian
I mean,
Kelly.
it was not a well managed game. I mean, but this is kind of a thing Brian Kelly's Notre Dame teams fell victim to. There were a lot of big games they just didn't show up. And last year, I mean, LSU didn't have as much expectations in Brian Kelly's first year, and they played up. They beat Alabama. They almost beat FSU in a classic that one year. They had a blocked extra point go against them. But this year, I mean, there were expectations. And once expectations get placed on you at LSU, you don't have a long leash. Les Miles knows that well. I mean, remember, it was him versus Gus Malzahn in a battle of which coach gets to keep their job.
Yeah.
One of my favorite games of all time.
It was
It
a
was an
great
awesome
game, too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, fair. Okay. Next up, Mizzou. Should we just throw them in the played cupcake real quick? We've talked about them enough. Did what they had to do.
I'm not gonna call them a loser, but I wasn't impressed.
Eli Drinkwitz in loser?
No. Maybe we can make one that just says weirdo of the week.
Weirdo? Yeah. I could
kind
add
of
a
an
tier for
odd
weird.
thing to say.
I could add a tier about weirdo.
Just
All
a
right.
weird post-game presser in general.
Yeah, just say weird post-game presser Drinkwitz.
Okay, I'll put Drinkwitz in the weird presser tier. Florida.
Loser.
Loser
Loser of
time.
dog water.
I would kind of lean dog water.
Dog?
They looked bad.
Utah.
They did
It was
not-
all of Utah's backups too. They didn't have to
Utah
start
had a
quarterback.
lot of backups. I don't think Queeth played. I don't know how to say their tight end's name. Keith. I know how it sounds. Shut up, the both of you. I see you both going. Shut up. It's like Keith or something like that. Frank Keith. Whatever. Make fun of me.
Frank
whatever.
Haith?
No, not he. But yeah, they didn't have their starting quarterback, didn't have their starting tight end, and that game was never in doubt for Utah. And Florida, I mean, they got a late touchdown and 2-point conversion. Mertz had the worst 300-yard passing game I've ever seen. I would lean dog water, honestly. I think they're bad.
There's no running game either for Florida. Trevor Etienne, only 25 yards on 7 carries. That's like it. There was really nothing else going for them on the ground.
It was so bad. His brother, Travis Etienne, I mean, he was joking like he might have to go play for Deion in Colorado, and Tyler Etienne had to go, no, we're fine at Florida. Like on Twitter. I don't know if you guys saw that, but it was messy.
Tough. That's tough.
It was a bad week.
Graham Mertz, not a good game. Who would have thought? Arkansas. Cupcake?
They were
cupcake.
I will say their running game is a big loser. Rocket Sanders looked pretty bad against a pretty bad opponent.
You can't be bad when your name's Rocket and you play running back.
Well, his name is Raheem, but his nickname is Rocket.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. Ole Miss. Cupcake? Who did they play?
Cupcake. I would lean their they played Mercer.
That's right.
If there was an actual winner tier, I'd put them in that because Jackson Dart threw 3 touchdowns in the first 5 minutes of the game.
Nice. South Carolina.
Dog water.
Dog?
I am not going to
dog water.
lean dog water because I don't think they're as bad as Florida. I'm putting Shane Beamer in dog water.
Dog.
But I'm putting South Carolina in loser because Shane Beamer is coming out off the field in a game where Mac Brown kind of choked him to get him to hear something.
Oh, yeah.
I
might put that. Can we put that picture in like Georgia and Alabama?
Yeah, sure. That was a funny picture. South Carolina did not look great. It was North Carolina's game for pretty much all of it. North Carolina was definitively the best team, and North Carolina was missing Tez Bryant, who is expected to be their wide. Tez Bryant, who is expected to be their wide receiver 1 whenever he's cleared. But I mean, South Carolina, they gave up 9 sacks. And yes, their O-line did not look bad, but there's the old adage, pressures are an O-line stat, sacks are a QB stat. And so Spencer Rattler, despite throwing 300 yards, he was sacked 9 times. It was not a good showing. But Shane Beamer, for whatever reason, decided it was more about the chain gang eating a hot dog for their loss. I don't know. He really deflected a lot of criticism, and I thought that was very odd.
Lame.
That could be another worst post game presser. Honestly, that pushes Drinkwitz.
Okay. We could put them both in there. Worst post game presser, Drinkwitz and Shane Beamer. I'll do that.
Juju McDowell, who was one of the running backs for South Carolina, had 5 carries for -1 yards and a touchdown. I don't think I've ever seen something like that before. But it's just
they
such
had
weird
a
stat
bad day
lines.
on the ground.
Say that
Rattler
again?
didn't have a touchdown, but he had 5 carries for -1 yards and a touchdown.
How?
Just probably had a big rush. Or
Yeah, you just
really
lose
bad
a-
rush.
I guess you can just have so sorry. I guess you could just score a rushing touchdown and have negative yards later. That is funny. Okay, Alabama, obviously in the Bama Georgia tier. Auburn.
Just
they played
Played
UMass, so Cupcake.
Yeah.
I mean, they're a winner. They did what they had to do. I thought
Mhm.
their running game and passing game looked good.
Tennessee.
Oh, by the way,
played Cupcake.
I said North Carolina. I guess Des Bryant was on my mind when I said North Carolina's receiver that's dealing with the transfer issue. It's not Tez Bryant. It's Tez Walker. He went to he
Des
didn't
Bryant.
play at NC Central. Then he was at Kent State. But yeah, anyways, back to this.
The tough thing about Tennessee, though, is that they played Virginia, which isn't a cupcake. It's just
Which is leaning on Cupcake. But
yeah.
it's not really a cupcake. They are a Power 5. Tony Elliott is not long for that job, I don't think. But they are a winner. I would have to say we'd have to create a winner tab for them because
could
they
do a winner
blew
tab or
Virginia out of the water.
Yeah, like a meh.
No,
I guess
they looked
didn't-
very good.
They didn't play
They
meh.
looked
They
very
looked
good.
good. All right, we'll figure out Tennessee. For now, we'll put them in played Cupcake. but-
Tennessee, I would actually say, was probably the biggest winner of the week because
All
they
right.
look like they have a run game now, and that is not good
All right, we'll do
for
a winner.
anyone else.
We'll do a winner and put them in there. Vanderbilt. Please can put them in dog water.
No,
Oh wait, no, we have
Well,
the
they're
Vandy tier.
Vanderbilt tier,
Wait,
yeah.
there's a lower tier than dog water. Can I change Vandy's tier name for now to just like stadium, something about their stadium? Stadium NA, stadium incomplete.
Stadium not done.
Stadium not done.
Yeah. Alabama A&M, I mean, they eventually did blow them out. It took them a bit to get there. They do not look good early on. Not what you want to see early. They're a bad 2-0.
Mississippi State.
Played Cupcake. They blew Southeast Louisiana out of the water. I didn't watch a second of this game.
There we go. And then A&M.
See,
Cupcake.
they played a Cupcake. I would say they do feel like a winner because the duo of Bobby Petrino and Connor Weigman absolutely worked in week 1, but they played New Mexico. This will be a big test for them this week against Miami.
Okay. Did I miss anybody? We're not doing Texas and Oklahoma.
Texas and Oklahoma. Oklahoma has to be a winner, even though they played a Cupcake.
I'm not putting them in. They're not in the SEC yet.
Biggest
see the
loser
video
of Butch
of
Jones.
Butch Jones crying.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That
Oh,
if
that
we
was-
want, we could rank him because he's Tennessee's old
Can I
coach.
put him in loser for?
Yeah,
Sad.
and he had a bad post game presser because he said you have to learn to not lose before you win, and that got ripped to shreds.
That's like Giannis's. There is no such
Steps
thing as
to
failure.
success,
Yeah,
yeah.
there's no such thing as failure. Okay, all right. I'll add Tennessee, A&M, and Ole Miss into the winner tier. How about that?
I mean, you can do that. I would say Tennessee is the only like true winner. I'd say, but
All right, I'll put Tennessee alone in
Yeah.
the winner tier. That's
the other two bordered on it for me.
In Bama, Georgia, I have Bama, Georgia, and the photo of Shane Beamer or of Mac Brown choking Shane
Mhm.
Beamer. Cupcake, Kentucky, Mizzou, Arkansas, Auburn, Ole Miss, Mississippi State, Texas A&M. Losers, Butch Jones, South Carolina, LSU. Dogwater, we'll put Brian Kelly, Florida, and then I'll put Shane Beamer in there too. And then Stadium Incomplete, Vanderbilt.
Nice.
That's the week 1 tier list. We'll tweet it. I got to make some edits, but yeah, there you go. That's college football, and that's the show. We'll wrap it up. Thanks everybody for listening. We'll be back on Sunday, and we'll have a lot of football because we got NFL starting tonight. Night we're recording this Thursday. Chiefs Lions. You guys watching?
If I have time, yes.
Fair.
We'll watch.
Signing on it. I don't know.
We'll have
See-
NFL. we'll see. We'll have NFL. We'll have Mizzou, Middle Tennessee State. We'll recap, and yeah, dive into all of it. See what comes of Missouri's second test of this early season. So yeah, I hope everyone enjoyed. Have a fun and safe week. We will see everybody on Monday.